Advance thanks for visiting mostexpensiver.com. Why is meat so expensive right now? But both the White House and consumer protection groups allege some meat producers are jacking up prices well beyond inflation, a practice known as price gouging. Food prices at home have increased almost 11% since last April. More than overall inflation, 8.3%, but the cost of meat, milk, and eggs in particular has soared well beyond both measures. Tyson Foods, America's largest meat producer, attributes the company's price hikes to higher demand for meat as well as increased labor and fuel costs combined with the rise in the price of grains fed to farmed animals. Meanwhile, the poultry industry has been ravaged by the bird flu, which has prompted producers to cull nearly 38 million birds this year, mostly turkeys and egg-laying hens, using rather grisly methods. Consumer protection advocates say these supply-side factors are partially to blame for the price hikes, but they also suspect big meat producers like Tyson Foods are making consumers pay more to fatten their profits. Tyson Foods declined an interview request but pointed me to economists and analysts who refute the idea that meat packers are price gouging, and testimony from Tyson Foods CEO Donnie King, given to the U.S. House Agriculture Committee in late April on the matter. King reiterated that strong demand and increased labor and input costs were the main reasons for higher meat prices. Meat companies do not set prices for consumers, Sarah Little of the North American Meat Institute told me over email. Tyson's King also told the House committee that high prices have nothing to do with industry consolidation. Callaway says there is heavy market concentration in some parts of the produce aisle too, but it's usually not as intense as it is for meat, in an article for Vox last year. She reported that the top 4 corporations in each industry slaughter 73% of all beef, 67% of all pork, and 54% of all chicken in the U.S. Even though that's evidence of excessive market power, it's not actually an antitrust violation. Increasingly, US beef comes from ranchers who sign contracts with meat packers to sell their meat at set rates. And Mitchell says the packers aren't raising those rates in tandem with their record profits, it's really creating an environment in which ranchers get squeezed, Mitchell said. While untangling competitive issues in the meat industry could take years, for those looking to save on their grocery bills now, the fastest way is to switch to less expensive plant-based foods. Eat plants cheaply. University of Oxford researcher Marco Springman and his colleagues published a study last year that found that in high-income countries, a flexitarian diet, a diet low in meat and dairy, reduces food costs by 14% on average. Fully vegetarian and vegan diets reduce food costs even further than flexitarianism. They don't include the packaged plant-based meat, milk, and egg alternative products that now line grocery store shelves, and which actually tend to cost more than their animal-based counterparts. Animal-based meat, milk, and eggs are also comparatively cheap in part because of government support. The meat industry also benefits from business-friendly regulation. Despite the high cost of plant-based alternatives, prices are beginning to come down. Plant-based startups often say price parity with conventional meat is a primary goal, and at least one claims to be getting close, Rebellious Foods in Seattle, which makes plant-based chicken. Plant-based advocacy groups say more government funding for R&D, like the meat industry has benefited from, would help startups like Rebellious get there faster. That could give startups an edge, as a recent survey found lower prices in the plant-based aisle could attract more consumers. Even as plant-based meat sales have jumped in recent years, US meat consumption has steadily increased with it, hitting a record high of 224.8 pounds per person last year, with forecasts to go even higher in 2022. But sky-high meat consumption isn't an immutable law of nature. Germany, the land of bratwursts, has seen a steady decline in meat consumption in recent years despite a strong economy, as have some other European countries. You can join in on this mission by making a financial gift to Vox today. Reader support helps keep our work free, for everyone. We accept credit card, Apple Pay, and Google Pay. You can also contribute via